Conversation.
It's time to excavate the desert to get Diddy Kong Racing Wii U. Oh no! I don't have a shovel! What am I gonna use to dig with?
Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Chad McCanna.
I know where that's going. I'm Hyle Russell.
Wow, I have no idea where that's going, but should be interesting.
Should be a sex crime, probably.
Oh yeah, well, I guess I could have predicted that, considering precedent. Welcome to the show. We have a kind of strange, speaking of precedent, unprecedented episode for you.
Is that the magic word tonight, Chad? Do I have to scream every time you say that?
And masturbate in a movie theater.
Well, the latter one's taken care of. Done and done. The Force wasn't the only thing that awakened.
Right. You came to the show prepared. And then some.
I left a remnant behind.
Oh, Jesus.
There was a fifth wave of semen.
Yeah, it's about time your future children be nominated for an Oscar.
What other movie references could we make?
Good God, let's stop on this train. We're trying to be better this season. There was a new DKU Donkey Kong Universe game that just sprung out of the ether this week.
That's
and
right.
We've both played it and we've got some first impressions. But before we get to that...
Okay, I played it all weekend. You've played it for 10 minutes, roughly.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair to say.
Okay, I'm just saying our perspectives might be a little bit different on the game.
Right, but before we get into that, let's plow through some due diligence.
Okay, that's fine. Let's do that. Let's do our business. All right, so support DK Vine on Patreon.
Yeah,
that's important. That's important.
Go
for us.
to dkvine.com/Patreon or patreon.com/dkvine. Our URLs are ambidextrous. Basically, we have a number of tiers at which you can donate, and there are rewards, personal rewards associated with each of those tiers.
Yeah,
things like getting the...
Oh, I was just going to say, and this weekend we should be fully rolling out the new rewards we promised with pictures and whatnot.
Oh, yes, that's right. So look for that as well. The whole new reward structure should be going up this weekend. There things like you get stickers for donating at all. We have a whole set of DK Vine stickers for $1 and up.
Yeah, $1 a month.
Yeah.
You get annual stickers. And not just one sticker, not just two stickers, not just three stickers, but four stickers.
How could you possibly send people 4 stickers for $1, Hyle? That makes no sense.
We're losing money. We've got to be crazy to be doing this.
All right, so we also will give you advance episodes of this very podcast, if that's something that you for some reason would like. We will let you participate in our upcoming Let's Play with Each Other, in which we will play video games live with you and other $10 and up donors and broadcast it over the...
Yeah, I've got the perfect game for that, Chad. I've got the perfect game for that.
What's that?
Well, we'll talk about that later in this episode.
Oh, damn! I thought you were going to say Mario Kart Double Dash using the GameCube modem.
Has anybody ever used the GameCube modem?
I bought a GameCube modem and I never used it because there was nothing to do. It came out alongside Phantasy Star Online, and then GameCube supposedly used it, but I guess just for LAN, or maybe you could play it online, but it was a mess. And
at least it came out. At least it stayed true to itself.
That's true. There was a piece of plastic injection molded by Nintendo that I purchased. So, yeah, lots of fantastic Patreon stuff. Go to either of those aforementioned URLs. Check them out. Call the podcast if you have any questions or comments about the Donkey Kong universe at 1-281-410-KONG 5664.
That's right. We will be taking calls, maybe this episode?
Yeah, we got a couple, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. But also just if you have any general comments, concerns, questions, queries.
Concerns?
Yeah. I'm concerned that you waste too much time talking about Donkey Kong.
Far too many episodes begin with semen jokes.
I think you need to get out more. I'm concerned about your health and well-being. That kind of stuff. I would appreciate that. Yeah. Honestly, I need an angel on my shoulder every now and then, because obviously Chad's not doing his job.
No, not at all. I'm the I'm the devil that masquerades as the angel on Hyle's shoulder.
You're like that new Fox procedural show, Lucifer.
I was sitting in the laundromat the other night, and Entertainment Tonight was on, and I didn't realize that was even still a thing.
Speaking of satanic.
Right, but they say Lucifer is drawing controversy for depicting the devil in a positive light.
Okay, since when did Homer Simpson get a job with Entertainment Tonight?
Lucifer is the latest hit from the Fox network. So, subscribe to us on iTunes, rate us, follow us all over social media. Tell your friends about the show as well. If this is a thing that you think might appeal to someone else in your life, just let them know. That's the least we can ask of you.
If you feel comfortable enough sharing this with somebody in your life, never let that person go.
Yeah.
Hold them tight.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yes, never ever let that person out of your sight to the point at which they resent you immensely.
When I told my fiance that I hosted a Donkey Kong podcast, she didn't run in terror, and that's when I knew I had to marry her.
Yeah, that's the litmus test. All right, so that's all of the dude illigence that I think we could possibly exhaust. Let's talk about #IDARB.
I think you're saying that wrong, Chad. The correct name is #IDARB, and that's the way we've got to say it.
No way, really?
Every time. I'm pretty sure because it stands for I drew a red box, which is...
yeah, but you don't say SCUBA. You don't for the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. You say scuba.
But you don't say SNL for SNL, a.k.a. Saturday Night Live.
Because there are no vowels in that, but IDARB handily gives us an I and an A.
Well, you know what? You call the SNES the SNES because it's a Britishism or an Australianism.
But it has a vowel. That's well within my argument.
Okay, but I say SNES. So I think you can call it IDARB, and I'll call it #IDARB as God or Lucifer intended.
Okay, all right. Coming up next on IDARB.
By the way, you can put Lucifer in IDARB, so...
Yeah, you can. You could put Lucifer. You could put the robot devil from Futurama. It's an incredibly versatile character generator. But well, okay. I think we're burying the lead here. Why the hell are we talking about #IDARB /#IDARB? I think can we at least agree that you have to say hashtag?
Hashtag is important. Because it is a very social media driven game, but not Facebook because they're excluding me. They've seen my post. They don't want to put those in game.
Right.
Destination Donkey Kong Universe. The IDARB Arena. No, nobody wants that.
Yeah.
It would just obscure the game screen.
I've noticed that this IDARB arena, by the way, has no items, much like other famous arenas.
What do you mean, no items?
Oh, this Smash Brothers Final Destination.
It does have a crowd, though. You didn't see the audience on the side.
Oh no, I didn't. Is there one?
Yeah, there's an audience filled with all the other characters you're not using.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, wow. That adds a little bit of texture to this reality.
It's a nice aromatic bouquet.
Yeah. So this is an indie title that was released last year?
Not an Indiana Jones title, because that would be cool. But no, you can put Indiana Jones in it.
No, it wouldn't. Not today.
What?
An Indiana Jones title would be the furthest thing from cool. There's no amount of Shia LaBeouf wearing leather jackets that could make a future Indiana Jones title cool.
All right, I know you're on the fence about The Force Awakens, but we can both agree that Harrison Ford put in an excellent performance as Han Solo, which is a role you would think he would not be caring about in the slightest. So I will say this. Under the proper direction, he could still make a great Indiana Jones.
I'm sorry, but Steven Spielberg is the proper direction. This is not a George Lucas scenario. You know, Steven Spielberg is an incredibly capable director. I just think that Indiana Jones 4 just kind of sucked all around.
It was terrible. We're in agreement there, Chad. I'm just saying Indiana Jones 5 could be good. It just get George Lucas out of there. And
are they doing one?
Spielberg wants to.
Oh, okay. It's not going to happen. It won't happen. Harrison Ford will die first, or he'll retire from acting.
There's a
reason that the big plot twist happened in Force Awakens. I mean, just.
Yeah, death keeps trying to kill Harrison Ford, and he just walks away from it. So.
Yeah. At any rate, we're not allowed to go on tangents anymore. That's what Kongversation minis are for.
Well, then we'll have to do a Kongversation mini about when Harrison Ford will die.
Jeez, should we set up that website a la Abe Vigoda?
Oh, but yeah, I can't believe Abe Vigoda's dead. We should do like the Kongversation mini Deathpool : Harrison Ford.
Wow. Yeah, and just like the Deathpool movie, it will contain nothing but bizarre sexual violent mashups.
Okay. Wait, what? Are you talking about the Ryan Reynolds movie Deadpool?
Deadpool. Oh, was that Deadpool? Deathpool?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't fucking know comic books. Okay. Let's continue with this thing.
I'm sorry. Ooh la la. Yeah, I forgot. You're too erudite for that.
No, I'm not too erudite for it.
So
There's just a billion of them. Yeah. Deadpool and Deathpool are synonymous as far as my brain is concerned. I don't have the mental capacity to keep all that shit straight anymore. It's
was based on DC Comics character Deathstroke.
Okay. Is that the David Carradine story?
I'm glad we brought it back around to masturbation.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, IDARB is an indie title. Holy crap, I'm sorry for that tangent. It's made by the company, studio, whatever, Other Ocean, which I can make a Lost reference. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Wouldn't it be prudent? And it's basically a futuristic soccer game. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I mean, pseudo-futuristic in that it's soccer that's played on a vertical plane.
Yeah, like it. Yeah. I guess it's, in my mind, it felt like hockey, but yeah, it's also soccer. And I mean,
soccer is basically hockey that's not played on ice and not with a stick,
right,
and with the ball.
Yeah, so really, yeah, I think that soccer gets the default in that case because hockey is the weird one.
Now, Chad, if this was a puck, it would be pinball.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Throwing you a galactic pinball reference, you're not taking the bait.
I was not ready for a Virtual Boy drop. So this is that, but basically it's strange because it's a game that's so rich with characters, but they don't even have animation cycles. They're just kind of still things.
Well, okay, but you've got to understand that it's designed to look like old NES sports games with a little bit of Atari 2600 in there for flavor. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically an indie title that's more about. I mean, it was based on Twitter suggestions, basically. So it was not designed to look like a state-of-the-art Connect Sports Rivals kind of game. It's supposed to be just a chintzy little throwback title. It's an indie title for $14.99. It's
right.
Aesthetically, you can't fault it. I mean, no more than you can fault, anything else of this ilk.
I think that the simplicity of the visual style is, in this case, to its benefit because it allows people to very easily, I guess, exert some creativity into the world. Okay, so it's a very, very basic premise. You're essentially playing a soccer-style sports game where you get the ball, or you get the object, I guess, in the other player's goal, and it resets, and you do it again and again and again. And it's also multiplayer.
It's also the goal of sex, but we're not. It's soccer. It's soccer, aka football.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I realize we're being very American-centric here, and sorry.
Oh, yeah, football, yeah. You threw me off because you started the podcast for our Twitch listeners with the ABC hit, Are You Ready for Some Football?
Right.
So I'm thinking soccer and talking about football, but you're talking about actual football, which is soccer, and I'm getting a whole you/me thing going on in my head.
Well, we're going to be talking about you and your mom, because your mom might be a character in this game. So...
Right, but is it your mom or is it capital your mom?
Well, it's both, depending on your point of view.
So, this is a bizarre game, an interesting game.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, you've played it more than me.
Yeah, I was snowed in all weekend. Blizzard of January 2016, and basically snowed in beginning on Friday afternoon through essentially till Monday morning, and they didn't even like plow my street until Sunday night. So yeah, I had nowhere to go. So
captive audience.
Saturday, I think it was Saturday morning. On the DK Vine forum, the Master DS posted something in Cameo Game Discussion, which is our discussion forum for crossover games that aren't born within a Donkey Kong universe, but have Donkey Kong universe characters appearing in them. And he said, basically, IDARB is DKU, and I see stuff like this, and I'm so used to people just going off the reservation trying to say this is part of the Donkey Kong universe, this is part of the Donkey Kong universe. I didn't even read it at first. I was doing my morning routine of checking my the DK Vine forum while brushing my teeth. I saw that, didn't even click on it. Later that afternoon, I have nowhere to be, so I'm actually like spending time on the DK Vine forum, and I click on this thread, and he mentions this. He was watching a Twitch stream of this game, and somebody was picking the Rare Limited team, and they're playing as Rare characters. And I was like, wait, well, what is this? And I was like, well, this
kind of raises the eyebrow.
This game has a character editor in it, so people were just probably making fan-made characters. And yet I kept reading, and the more I read, the more it seemed like that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So I did a Google search.
Especially given the fact if they are, they're not only playing as recognizable Rare characters, but they're playing for the Rare Limited team.
Yeah. Yeah. So and not the Rareware team, which is what somebody would probably call it,
Right.
The vast majority of people out there refuse to recognize Rare Limited as its name, despite the fact that that's always what it's been called, even when they were colloquially known as Rareware,
Yeah.
So I do some searching. I found out that IDARB hashtag IDARB. Ha, you tripped me up there. You tripped me up. I'm not going to fall for your lies. Why
do you make your life so much more difficult than it needs to be?
Because we got to fill showtime, and if I say hashtag IDARB, it's going to be a lot more efficient than saying hashtag IDARB. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a common complaint that our podcast is way too short.
So, Other Ocean, the makers of hashtag IDARB, solicited other game studios to design characters for them in their character editor and put in the game. And I was like, well, Rare could have done that, especially since, as it turns out, this is an Xbox One exclusive. And they have a Windows 10 version in the works, but no word on when it's actually coming out. So. Right.
And one would assume that a Windows 10 version would also feature Microsoft characters, including the Rare bunch.
Yeah. So eventually I was like, and I was like asking people on the forum, I was like, well, can anybody verify this? And I was like, fuck it. Why don't I verify it? So I downloaded it to my Xbox One and dove in.
They call that pulling a Goldilocks.
Yeah, right. Is that what you did for Goldilocks?
Yeah, I was like, fuck you people. I'm just going to download it myself. It's $5. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This is a little bit more expensive than Goldilocks, but, it's
This is a triple Goldilocks.
So, by the way, do not do a video search for triple Goldilocks. There might be bears in it, but not what you're expecting.
Right. It's a different thing entirely.
This porch is too cold. So I loaded up on my Xbox One, and instantly I'm kind of taken aback because there's a "winners don't do drugs" FBI message on the game, like harkening back to the
noticed that.
Harkening back to the classic arcade games of the early 90s. So instantly I'm like, okay, I kind of see this game's humor. And
right. It's the kind of it was clearly made by the kind of people who were about our age, who came up in this this era when that was something that might, log itself in your memory forever.
Right. People who really have a reverence for the video games of this era. And so,
yeah.
And the title screen, I know you haven't seen this, but the title screen has a caption, a DK Vine-esque caption underneath the title of the game, where it changes each time you load up the game.
That's funny.
Yeah. Huh. So occasionally it'll be like IDARB, or excuse me, hashtag IDARB. I'm gonna train myself to do this right. And it'll be something like versus Jason, or hashtag IDARB championship edition, stuff like that. So
it's funny because so next week we're going to be doing first impressions for another Donkey Kong Universe title that's along this line, Minecraft. And it also features, every time you load the game, a randomized subtitle for the game itself.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. So, so
maybe we should tell Jamie that should be in Lobo Destroyo. I think that's just something that's expected of indie games.
Fair, yeah, but that's fine. We could write them. We've had experience writing quite a few. So,
yeah,
I'm sure. Carry On My Wayward Sunset would really resonate with the Lobo Destroyo crowd.
Yeah. It's texture to San Lobo.
There you go. So anyway, you start off the game. And it took me a while to understand the menu because I will say the menu's laid out a lot more efficiently than Smash Brothers 4.
Yeah. I just kept mashing A until I got somewhere where there were things that I could read that made sense. I mean, it's just basically you hit a button and then you see words, and it's very clear because there's not just these random geometric shapes that contain misleading prompts.
Right, the random geometric shapes is actually the gameplay itself, but
right.
The menus,
that's the actual acronym of the title.
The menus actually use text and are laid out in a way that makes sense. So anyway, so fuck you, Sakurai.
Oh, geez.
Oh, he's listening and he's weeping every time you curse Sakurai, an angel gets its wings. So, and then is put into Smash Brothers because it's from Kid Icarus.
I feel like everyone in heaven is now suffocated by angel wings, considering the amount of unnecessary vitriol that gets slung Sakurai's direction.
Some of it's necessary. There's angels with 9 wings.
No, none of it's necessary. He's a guy who made a video game. There's no vitriol is necessary.
Yeah,
you can not like his output, but don't be mean to the guy himself. Like, who the fuck cares? He's just a talented guy. Leave him alone.
And George Lucas is just a talented guy who makes movies. But he raped my childhood.
Okay.
So anyway, my first concern was not gameplay, not actually learning what this game is. I just had to get DKU confirmation. So I go through the characters. I could have gone through teams because that's laid out efficiently, but I went through characters and I just started scrolling through all the characters. And yep, sure enough, I found them. Banjo. Well, let me tell you all the rare characters in the game.
Sure.
And this is the order they're put in. So, Conker, a Fudgehog from off of Viva Pinata, Banjo, Kazooie. And I should point out that on the team menu, all the Donkey Kong Universe characters are on the same row, the top row. So, probably a coincidence, but I like that for us, they're all grouped together. And then on the second row, you get Vela and Juno from Jet Force Gemini.
Nice.
Joanna Dark from off of Perfect Dark. And Saberman. And Saberman is also his Banjo-Tooie and Saberman GBA design, not his retro Rare Replay sprite or whatever. Because Rare Replay didn't even utilize the modern Saberman in its artwork. It just was the classic Spectrum sprite.
Yeah, the one that doesn't have a face, just eyeballs poking out of a black void.
So it's nice to see that somebody at Rare still acknowledges the Banjo-Tooie version as the canonical Saberman.
Right. But Cameo's in there as well.
Cameo and Rash from off of Battletoads, which Rash is the Battletoad that is always put in these crossover games now. Shovel Knight, Killer Instinct, of course, and And,
well, he's the one that got the starting at E3 of 2015. He was kind of established as the Battletoad. That's where they debuted his giant human-sized statue that Soldier Boy was so fond of.
Soldier Boy, yeah, a good friend of the show, Soldier Boy.
Right. We'll have him back someday.
Yeah.
Look at our archives for the Soldier Boy episode.
We could probably get B.O.B. on the show if we were flat earthers.
Is that a rapper that supports the flat Earth theory?
Yeah. He's been getting into Twitter arguments with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh God, we have to get him on the show. I want to talk to this guy.
It's so relevant to the Donkey Kong universe. Anyway,
it'll be a KV mini.
Okay, yeah. Oops,
yeah.
All tangents. Interview with B.O.B.
Interview with B.O.B. on the flat Earth theory. Let's do this.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he'll take our calls. Anyway, so yeah, Rash is always putting these crossovers, and he even commented on it in the Killer Instinct trailer. He was like, I'm sick of all the... he said something like, I'm sick of all these crossovers or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, so wait, so they have a voice cast for the Battletoads now, huh?
Well, at least for Killer Instinct, at least for the Killer Instinct crossover.
Wow, I wonder what he sounds like. I haven't heard it yet.
I think he basically
honestly
sounds like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle,
Oh, okay. So Rob Paulson?
Look it up on YouTube. Anyway, there's also, speaking of Killer Instinct, they also have Killer Instinct 2 characters. And from what I can tell, I think these Killer Instinct 2 characters were put in the game before the Rare Ltd team. Because I think this was in the initial build of the game to promote the modern Killer Instinct. And I think with the January 15th update, that's where the Rare characters came in. So they've only been in here for about the game is over a year old, but the Rare limited characters have only been in there for about 2 weeks at this point.
So I guess we're assuming that the characters that are in are officially sanctioned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because they asked people who make Halo, not Bungie anymore. I don't think they don't make Halo anymore, do they?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, whoever's making Halo, they got them to put in Halo models, which, by the way, the Halo models are inferior compared to nearly every other character in the game. It's interesting. They asked somebody at Rare to just design these characters. And
are we sure that it was somebody at Rare, or perhaps did Rare just give their blessing and someone at IDARB did it? Other Ocean.
They asked developers, I think, to design them for them.
Okay, because I asked Other Ocean on Twitter, and they didn't reply. Neither did Rare. So I don't know. I've been trying to find out, but I haven't.
Yeah, but it is officially sanctioned one way or another. So I mean,
okay. Then the follow-up question is, if the Rare thing came later, was the first release with the Killer Instinct characters officially sanctioned?
I want to think so, because they're so much further up on the team select screen. But it's interesting because they're Killer Instinct 2 characters called KI2 Classics. That's their team name.
Okay.
So you got TJ Combo, Fulgor, Jago, Saberwolf, Spinal, B Orchid, whatever, Kim Woo, Tusk, which is great to see Tusk in there. Because, of course, longtime Rare fans who visited Rare were regaled by Uncle Tusk's advice column.
quote unquote advice column.
Right. Glacius, Maya, and Gargos, the main boss from Killer Instinct 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting they went with this cast and not the probably more iconic Killer Instinct 1 cast, but it's cool to see. I like that. Okay, so I'm assuming that these are then not on the versions that are available elsewhere, like on Steam. Like these seem like Xbox exclusive characters. Well, as far as I'm aware, it's not on Steam. Is it on Steam?
Oh, really?
It's Xbox One exclusive. Yeah, it's done through the Xbox indie development, whatever.
The XBID.
Yeah. So developed exclusively for Microsoft properties.
Mm-hmm. Or I think it's ID at Xbox is what it was.
Right. We at E3 we got those nice cards, and I'm sure IDARB #IDARB is on one of those cards.
Right. Yeah. No, it probably is. I'm sure we were both carrying around these like bricks of independent game cards that contained a game that we would one day be talking about.
Yeah. Who knew? But
Wow.
this is why all these Microsoft characters are in the game. But there's more than just Microsoft characters, more than just video game characters in this. Right. Because
before you get into that, let's take a call.
Oh, well, let's take a call.
We've got 3. I figure let's dole them out throughout the episode. But now that we've set the stage for this being Donkey Kong Universe, let's see what the listeners think.
All right.
Hey guys, it's Mitchell. Just wanted to talk to you about IDARB. I think it's a cool game. It definitely looks cool. I haven't had a chance to play it myself yet, but I like that style of game. It's very much like Duck Game, if either of you have played that. Also a pretty good, like, high number of player party game, multiplayer situation. Little Smash Bros.y on the side. I wanted to talk to you about the legitimacy of there being characters like Abraham Lincoln and Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead in the DKU. It's fine, I guess, but I just don't think that this qualifies them. Hear me out. They don't have names in IDARB, all the characters, and this seems to not matter to anyone else, but I have a point of contention with that. Although we did take developer intent for Royston being in Goldilocks, we would just assume that that's what Ed Bryan wanted, so even though it's not named, Royston's in there. With this game, I don't know, because the developer isn't the same developer who invented, sorry, I'm walking by I don't even know what that is.
Is it a number station?
So the developer isn't the same developer who invented Rick Grimes, or even 4, Banjo.
8.
And 15, I'm okay with 16, Banjo being part of it, but that's only because it looks like Rare gave the go-ahead. If they didn't, I would just kind of assume that that's a bear with a backpack who happens to be part of a team who's called Rare. None of that is really indicative of this Banjo being the Banjo. And none of it's indicative of his name even being Banjo. So, I don't know. I guess it's not as solid as the Minecraft one for me. Which is why, in my personal headcanon, I'm thinking this one through still. So, just wanted to talk to you guys about that. Thanks. Bye.
Interesting contention from MF Wolf.
So the guy who wanted to retroactively put Drumstick in Shovel Knight has a problem with this game. Okay. So,
yeah.
Well,
Drumstick, that Shovel Knight would be a piece of connective tissue to IDARB via the aforementioned rash.
There you go. But, okay. Well, we know that they officially solicited fellow Microsoft game studios. So there's your Rare connection. It is officially, Rare. They even have the Rare logo in the game as their flag.
Right, but I think his point is, without the game explicitly saying it, it is essentially up to the interpretation of the visuals. Which yeah, I mean he mentioned the fact that we ruled that Royston was in Goldilocks and Little Bear based entirely on the visual appearance of that character. I don't see why we can't do the same thing here.
Yeah, I mean, the developer intent, well, hey, Rare gave their stamp. It's in the game. It's in a Microsoft game. If this was on a PlayStation game or something, I could see the argument. This is a Microsoft exclusive. This is a Microsoft property.
Right. Well, we would need to, in that case, we would really need to confirm that it was given the stamp of approval.
Right.
In the same way as the stamp of approval. Minecraft has now bridged the Sony gap via Greg and the Ancient Mummy from off of Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
But look who owns Minecraft.
Exactly. So clearly that was sanctioned by Microsoft.
Okay, but
in IDARB's case, if it was just if this squirrel in a blue sweater with gloves showed up on a Sony console and we didn't know, we would certainly need to track that down.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with him there. I'm just saying he also brought up Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead.
Right.
Ain't like it was before. Ebola's coming up cold. He's in IDARB. But here's the thing.
Yeah, I think Carl is in there too.
Rick Grimes, Coral,
the governor,
Micheline, the tire lady.
Maybe she's bored with it.
Daryl is not in it because they are comic book.
Wait, who's Daryl?
Daryl, the crossbow wielding guy that everybody loves.
Oh, you mean Durl?
Durl, okay. Well, he's not in it because they are not the TV versions. They are the comic book versions. And yes, they are officially sanctioned because there are 2 expansion packs you can buy. The Walking Dead expansion pack, The Walking Dead / Invincible, which are 2 Robert Kirkman properties that he's given his stamp of approval for. And the characters...
So that comment, though, officially sanctioned, is a curious one because there's a lot of research that I think we need to do to determine which of these characters we can consider official.
Okay, but here's the thing. The Walking Dead, the logo is on the expansion pack. It's an official Walking Dead product.
Okay, well, we can confirm that one. That's fine.
And there's also Masters of the Universe. So all the He-Man characters are officially sanctioned by Mattel. What?
Oh, I didn't realize that this game featured He-Man.
He-Man, She-Ra, Skeletor, they're all in the game.
Ooh, is the little that little like imp thing with the Ortho was his name, I think. Is he in there?
I think I know who you're talking about, and if so, yes.
Yeah. He wears a blue gnome's hat and he doesn't have a face, just eyeballs.
Yeah, he's in the game.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So
obviously I'm a big fan of the character.
So yeah, we can say for certain all the video game characters and those Walking Dead, Masters of the Universe, they're all actually the real characters, or at least one version of them in the multiverse. I don't know, like if it's the Masters of the Universe from the cartoon, from the comics, from the reboot. I don't know. From the movie, maybe, with Dolph Lundgren. So I don't know if Dolph Lundgren is the He-Man in this game, but that's for a Masters of the Universe expert. That's, I believe, the Saf on the DK Bind forum.
It's really funny that He-Man
fan.
It's funny that He-Man came about because a company was manufacturing Conan the Barbarian action figures, and they lost the Conan license, so they just painted the Conan action figures with blonde hair and created He-Man, and yet when it came time to make a He-Man movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger just turned his nose up at it.
Right. Well, that's also how they made Conan O'Brien. They lost David Letterman. They lost the rights to him.
Right, so they just painted David Letterman's hair red.
Yeah. Little known fact. So
we got all kinds of late night discussion on this show.
Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah. There's also what look to be Disney princesses in the game, and those are not officially licensed. They're referred to as the damsels. So
okay.
Now, but here's the thing about Disney princesses: they're usually based on real fairy tales, or something from mythology. So they could be a version of that, just not the Disney version.
Sort of like Goldilocks is a telling of the Goldilocks fable, but not necessarily the same Goldilocks that you've seen every time you've seen that story told.
There's also a team called the Dead Presidents.
And really?
So, yeah.
Is that the band from the 90s?
No. You're thinking the Dead Kennedys?
Oh, yeah, I guess I am.
There's probably a Dead Presidents, too. But anyway, so I believe George Washington...
I consider RFK a de facto president.
Okay, fair enough, yeah. Ted Kennedy, not so much. But he wasn't dead in the 90s, so anyway. You've got George Washington, Abe Lincoln, Eisenhower's there, Nixon is there. So I would say they're historical figures, so they count.
Yes, and they're not being coy about who they are, as in the damsels. Right. They are basically saying these are literally dead presidents, and they it's very clear what presidents those little sprites are meant to be. So yeah, I think that I don't think there's much ambiguity there. Right.
There's also the Lovecraftian gods and creatures.
Like the old ones?
The old ones, yes, and I believe that is their team name. So there's Cthulhu. Cthulhu has an arena. Like there's very few characters that have an arena, and Cthulhu is one of them.
Oh, interesting.
So you want to talk about how all these characters are crossing over? I'm thinking we look to the other gods.
Okay.
Or the other
gods.
Well,
I don't even know that. I don't really understand what the premise of that question is. Where are they crossing over to? What is this place? You've spent more time with the game than I have. I've only seen the one arena that looks like the Dallas Cowboys logo.
First, let me address a concern that Mitchell MF Wolf has. Because he says he doesn't like the idea of Rick Grimes from off of The Walking Dead, which, to be fair, I don't like the idea either, of just The Walking Dead in general. Or, Abraham Lincoln being DKU, because, it just sullies the DKU name. A lot of people in the forum have this problem, too, and I find it interesting because how is this any different from Cloud from off Final Fantasy or Sonic the Hedgehog even? How's this any different from Smash Brothers, from Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing with Banjo-Kazooie? It's essentially the same concept, and here's where people are getting tripped up. You can't think of Rick Grimes as a DKU character. He's a character who has appeared in a DKU game. He's not. No,
but yes, I can. He is.
He's not DKU born and bred, though. We're not.
No, he's not.
Grimes.
The DKU doesn't. Yeah, DKU doesn't follow Rick Grimes, but he's a DKU character.
But okay, well, he's a DK. He appears in a DKU game. I think there's a distinction to be made.
Riddle me this, Russell. Is Rick Grimes eligible? Is he eligible for the DK Vine Hall of Fame 2016?
Cameo game characters are eligible, yes. They so far none have won, but
so Rick Grimes 2016 DK Vine Hall of Fame. Make it happen.
You're not advocating this.
No, I'm not. I'm
Ryan
making
Stiles is one thing.
I'm making a point. I'm saying he is a DKU character, whether you like it or not.
But he's not. You got to think, okay, Mitchell, you got to think of Cameo Games as not lesser entities, but more off to the side. They don't really influence main canon too much. They have, but to a much lesser extent. It's not like we're really going to seriously think when next time we play a new Banjo-Kazooie game, whenever that may be. Oh man, I wonder how Banjo's feeling right now about that time he played futuristic soccer with Rick Grimes.
Right.
You're not going to think about that.
Thankfully, these stories for all of these characters that appear in these things are not told in immediately a linear serialized fashion. One event after the next. We have years of gaps in between, so it's relatively simple as long as the characters aren't canonically killed off or maimed in some inextricable way. It's perfectly reasonable to think that they just went on these little side adventures in the intervening years.
Oh, I mean, I'm perfectly content thinking this takes place in the here and now, 2016, baby. But
that's what I'm saying. But probably the next Banjo game will take place when that game comes out. That's how they've done every Banjo game, since the inception.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like this isn't some sort of side adventure that happened in like 2002 or anything. It's like I don't think this is pre-nuts.
No, that's Grunty's Revenge.
Well, that took place in 1998 and then back to 1978. But anyway,
right? No, I mean it's an intriquel, but okay.
Yeah. But Cameo Games you can't really get that hung up on, or else we'd have a problem with Smash Brothers. We'd have a problem with anything else, and we'd be like the Zelda fans who treat it as non-canon. That's not fun. It's not fun saying this is non-canon. Hashtag IDARB is non-canon. Burr, 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 burr. No, that's never been DK Vine. The fun of a game like this is to just embrace the absurdity of it, because at this point you do realize that the Donkey Kong universe has crossed over with nearly every video game franchise ever made, practically. Or if it hasn't, you can trace a line to other franchises that's crossed over with that have crossed over with those franchises.
Thanks to the indie game era, the Donkey Kong universe is its own private Tommy Westphall universe.
Any video game series has this distinction now. It's not just the Donkey Kong universe. It's not just the shared reality that we cover. It's, any video game series has this. Smash Brothers really started this trend, but because it was such a massive success and so popular, yeah, you're going to see indie developers emulate this as much as they can. And that's fine. That's fine. That's the era we live in. It's just the era of huge crossovers like this. So long as this doesn't influence the main games, it doesn't really matter. And you know what? It's fun. It's fine. And I say this as somebody who's not the continuity anarchist, but I'm fine with this.
I was honestly a little surprised to hear that you were immediately on board with this. But I guess
I was the one who let you know about it, and I had to explain it to you in text message.
I got a text message saying there's a new DKU game called #IDARB, and I'm just thinking, Hyle, hashtags don't work in text messages. Like, I didn't know what the hell you were talking about.
Right. Well, you're the one who told me about Goldilocks, essentially, or else, no, you didn't actually text me about it at all. You just started talking about it on the forum, and I was just like, wait a minute. At least I had the courtesy to come to you, Chad, as a gentleman would when they have a new shared universe property to discuss.
Mm-hmm. I thank you for respecting my fragile constitution.
I'm trying to make America great again, Chad. No, but it's Mitchell. It's fine. It's fun. I think it's absurd that Banjo has met Carl Grimes now, and you know what? It ain't like it was before. Just
no, the DKU ain't like it was.
No,
but that's okay.
But this doesn't. Okay, but here's the thing too. This is a multiversal crossover.
Right.
So The Walking Dead did not happen in this universe, but they've met on a plane of existence where the two characters could meet. So, and then they went back to their respective universes. And then I'm sure the Walking Dead cast was like, well, why didn't we stay in a universe that didn't have walkers in it?
So tell me this. What if you're saying that the old ones sort of drew everyone here? It seemed like that's what you were positing.
Well, I'm saying that's a plausible explanation, especially considering the amount of focus that's on them, because the three arenas that come prepackaged in the game, and you can also get a Walking Dead arena, you can get a Masters of the Universe arena, but those are the expansion packs that you buy, or expansion DLC, I should say. But there's just the standard #IDRB Arena City, I believe it's called. There's the home arena for the breakfast characters. There's breakfast food in this game. Breakfast food that you can control. So you can control bacon, you can control like a glass of milk, I think. I think glass of milk would make a fantastic entrant in the DK Vine Hall of Fame 2016. If you're lactose intolerant, you might have a problem with that.
Yeah. Well, I don't approve of racism.
And then, so the breakfast guys have their own arena, and then there's an arena called Mustache Cops versus Cthulhu. And Mustache Cops are a team in this game. They're all mustachioed police officers. And then there's, so they've got an arena where the cops... Maybe this is like an X-Files type thing, or the Night Stalker type thing, where these law enforcement people were wrapped up in this paranormal case that quickly became Lovecraftian in nature, and so they're fighting Cthulhu and friends. The old ones.
So the actual arena is named after that matchup, but you don't necessarily need to play those characters.
No,
in that arena.
I've played as solo. You can play solo games just trying to practice, basically, which is how I kicked your ass, McCanna. You were scored in the wrong goal for the first 3 rounds.
Okay, I'm sorry. Look, you were playing as Banjo. You were blue. I was playing as Kazooie. I was red. The goal that I kept scoring on was the blue goal. That's your goal, and yet it counted for you. That's not how this is. Okay,
you've just got to. She's got to get over your hesitations and score in the red goal, which I know it. Just get your Red Wings, Chad.
It's my own goal.
Anyway,
I know you're trying to say something disgusting. I'm just trying to ignore it.
No, because you were playing as Kazooie. You have Red Wings. What do you think I'm saying? What do you think I'm saying? Oh yeah, that's an old Scraps joke. So
yeah.
Anyway, the Cthulhu stage, it's actually set in space, and you've got tentacles coming up, and there's lesser gravity on that arena, so
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm thinking with the amount of focus on them, this could be something Lovecraftian in nature. Maybe the old ones exist outside the multiverse, and they're really into this version of soccer.
That's reasonable to assume. I mean, I'm not.
Hey,
not the soccer part.
Hand, he's an extra dimensional being, and he likes martial arts.
Yeah, and I know that, a lot of the Dark Tower series is rooted in Lovecraftian mythos, at least the space between realities and what resides there.
Space turtles, man, space turtles.
Yeah, it's turtles all the way down. No, but all of that is, I think, in line with the idea that if there is something between dimensions, it would be a Lovecraftian monster. So I think that's embedded enough in pop culture and in literature that it's a safe assumption for us to make.
Right, Cthulhu's public domain at this point. So.
Oh, is he? Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, the real Ghostbusters fought Cthulhu on an episode.
I didn't realize that.
I'm not making that up. No, it's one of the more infamous episodes, at least among internet hipsters. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think that can be the rough story. It doesn't have to be War and Peace. It doesn't have to be great literature. It's just a silly crossover game that's made with 8-bit graphics. It's fun.
Right.
It's goofy, and the inherent goofiness of it is, I think, appealing to me because this is just a simple lark of a game. But here's the thing: it's just the sheer absurdity of it. It makes it more fun to me than Smash 4. Smash Brothers just takes itself too seriously at this point. At least, so maybe the fans of Smash Brothers take themselves too seriously. But I just love that. Yeah, we can have a game with Master Chief and Banjo and Conker and Richard Nixon, and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a team called Your Moms, and
that's a good point. I also wanted to mention, I think we may have not overlooked, but haven't properly acknowledged the fact that for the first time, Joanna Dark, Juno, Vela, and Cameo are DKU characters.
Or at least appear in a DKU. The nomenclature we're getting hung up on. We have a fundamental disagreement of how to refer to these characters, but we're coming at it from the same place, at least. Yes, this is their first time appearing in the DKU.
Cameo, DKU Hall of Fame 2016.
Donkey Kong's never getting in.
No. If Donkey Kong gets in, we'll fix the vote.
It's just going to be Florida 2000 all over again. You hear that? You hear that?
We should mention the voting machines for our 2016 DKU Hall of Fame have been provided generously by Diebold.
Diebold, yes. Because really, if you're going to vote on something, you want the word die in there. Anyway, yeah, Your Moms, there's a team called Your Moms. So I think, reasonably, we have to assume that your mom is one of these moms, and they are all different races and creeds. So
just pick the one that looks the most like yours.
Basically, I've already found my mom out of that bunch.
Really?
Yeah.
So in your own personal Donkey Kong universe, and we know that thanks to the character every person kind of has their own
personal
multiversal, personal canon. So your mom is in your DKU now.
Yeah, she fought against Richard Nixon in a game of futuristic football/soccer.
Well, now you have something to talk about at dinner instead of just being on your phone the whole time.
But the only reason your mom was brought into it was because of the fame you gained, starting with that time you were a contestant on the hit game show It's Mr. Pants.
Oh, what? Did a reality crew start following your family or something?
No. Well, it could have been like a Kardashian thing where you're famous for one thing, and then it's like, well, what about the family? So,
rustling up the Russells.
Anyway, and if your mom has passed, the time travel's involved in this game. There's dead presidents, so it's okay. It's cool.
Yeah.
Your mom's back. Your mom's back. Isn't it great?
There should be a Dead Moms team.
Oh, well, how would they know that? Personal canon, Chad. Personal canon.
That's true.
So, yeah, there is a character editor, and I think canonically we just view this character editor like we would Mii's or, Xbox avatars. It's basically, whatever. That's how you can be in the game. And by the way, I am creating a team called the Rare Archipelago, and I am going to be on that team as you, meaning me.
Oh, you're putting you. Are you making it the faceless me version of you, or are you making it you?
No, the version of me that is you on the Wii U and 3DS that looks like me, but we refer to the character as you.
I followed every word of that.
I know you did, because you're read up on your literature. You know what I'm talking about.
I was like intensely parsing every word.
You had a Glenn Beck chalkboard. Okay.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, let's not go there. Let's take another call. We've got 3 of them. Ooh.
Hey guys, ACZ here. Just wanted to call in and talk for a bit. Well, it seems like the beginning of the year for the DKU was off to a pretty surprisingly good start, actually. I mean, just 2 weeks ago we got the announcement of a new Mario vs. Donkey Kong game that isn't really called Mario vs. Donkey Kong anymore, and it actually looks pretty good now, with actual levels being based off of DKC returns and all that stuff. So that's something to possibly look forward to and see if that ends up being a good game. But I guess another game that completely blindsided us is what you guys are talking about now, which is #IDARB.
#IDARB.
This sort of weird 8-bit soccer game that was sort of created like last year for Xbox One, and wow, it's sort of gained a little bit of traction now in the community. I mean, this is really cool. So I guess my question to you is, like, what other surprises do you think the DKU has in store for us that we don't know about? You think something like IDARB can happen again, where we just get a random update to some weird indie game, and all of a sudden there are just Rare characters running about in them with Rare's permission? What do you guys think? I guess also another thing that I've been wondering is, have you guys seen the work that Agent Ape has been doing in the character creation tools? He's done some amazing stuff. He's made, like, Ted, all the Acorn people, Conker, Evil
stuff.
Acorn, the Kongs, K. Rool, even freaking Perry. I mean, that's
I mentioned
pretty
the Acorns
awesome.
before the Kongs.
Anyways, I don't want to ramble on. I have some bad duck games to go play. See ya.
I forgot that, on the DKVine forum, dkvine.com/forum, the ACZ is now, since Hyle refuses to beat Donkey Konga 2...
Gotta give me that Patreon money, baby.
Other people have...
Holding out for 800 some bitches.
Stickers, man, that's the way.
Stickers.
So, the ACZ has taken it upon himself to do, in honor of Kongversation caller Mamechi, who's Disney obsessed, the Duck Fund, in which he plays through every terrible Donald Duck game that's been ever made.
Here's the thing: when you refer to Mamechi as Disney obsessed, that's like referring to us as Nintendo obsessed.
Duck obsessed.
Yes, you've got to get more specific than that.
Yes, sorry, I apologize for misrepresenting your fandom, Mamechi. He's not only listening but taking notes for his manifesto. Yeah. Is this a slippery slope, Hyle? What do you think?
Slippery slope of what? That any indie title that's like sanctioned by Microsoft can be updated with Rare characters?
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope, but that's the era we live in, and that's what makes it so exciting and unpredictable. Look, the 3rd episode of last season was about the winter shitfucks because we had absolutely nothing going on. And this is traditionally the time of year where, we have nothing going on until spring, when rumors about E3 start cropping up, where we'd have to be saying, Diddy Kong Racing Wii U, come on, I know you're there, baby, come on, save me.
Right.
And we don't really need that right now, because here comes #IDARB. Why not? It's a fun time, just, we got to loosen up, have some wine, just take it.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
No, not like that. Not like Cosby. No. 'Cause he gave women espressos that were spiked, Chad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Completely
okay, I guess
different.
that's the less conspicuous way of doing it.
Because you have caffeine in it, so you'd think it's not going to affect you, but he really puts in a lot of Quaaludes in there. Anyway, so...
Wow.
People got to know what a monster Bill Cosby is.
People got to know. They turn to the Kongversation to find out about celebrity rape trials.
Your beloved 80s icons are monsters. Bill Cosby, rapist. Hulk Hogan,
Bronson
racist.
Pinchot, serial jaywalker.
To be fair, he's doing the dance of joy over. I mean, who needs?
Cousin Larry, in me pos we do to not have roads.
Yeah,
we go wherever the goats go.
Who needs a crosswalk when you want to do the dance of joy, Chad?
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
Anyway, so yeah, it's I'm fine with it. If they want to, if they want to put them in Shovel Knight for real, not just Rash from Battletoads, but a DKU character, I'm all for it. I'm on board with this. I'm excited. I'm excited about this era we live in. You know what?
Yeah.
Warm, open embrace. Now, as far as Ancient Apes,
you just don't want it to be forced.
No, I want it to be clear. I want there to be clarity. I don't want. I feel like the integrity of the DKU depends on clarity.
And I feel like we are uniquely situated as a website that has developed this intricate system of rules, and, you know, despite sometimes disagreements in interpreting them, I think that we are best positioned out of all of these fandoms to kind of embrace this for what it is, rather than just make it, you know, a knee-jerk rejection,
because
like a lot of other fan communities do.
Here's the thing, like, Mario Wiki or something would have a small page on hashtag IDRB or something, you know, but they want to embrace it. They Zelda, you know, of course we know they don't embrace that. Same with Metroid, which what else do you get, Metroid fans? You think you would want this? But DK Vine is the fallout shelter that we've been building in our backyard, and IDARB is the nuclear war. Like, we've been preparing for this. You know, this is exactly what we have been preparing for. There's a reason we've argued since day one that Smash Brothers is canon. So when we get a game like hashtag IDRB, we can have Richard Nixon as a DKU villain. Why not?
Exactly. Because it's much less clean when you start making arbitrary distinctions between what is and isn't canon.
Absolutely. We don't have a Hyrule Historia to fall back on. You know what? Even if we did, we'd still argue, no, Smash Brothers is canon.
Sure. So, Hyrule Historia would be like on the same tier as marketing information.
Right.
Like we would give as much credence to anything a DK Historia said as we would the idea that Tiny Kong is a tax accountant.
Exactly, right. So anyway,
which is canon in some regions until it's, you know, contradicted by anything in her character.
Right. In-game contradictions trump. Oh, I shouldn't say that word. In-game contradictions supersede anything that's like marketing material or even instruction booklets.
Yeah.
But as far as Ancient Apes work, Ancient Ape, of course, is the guy who famously is recreating Conker's Pocket Tales in Project Spark. And he just made the Rare Cow in it. I mean, it looks great. And if you don't know who the Rare Cow is, congratulations. You're the vast majority of the population. But the Rare Cow is the cow that the portable, or at least one of the handheld teams at Rare hid in all their games for the Game Boy Color and one Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, Grunty's Revenge.
Yeah. So, he's being very faithful in his recreations. And, so just the other day, he's in the DK Vine Inner Circle, which you can join for $25 a month. And, he was showing us all the work he'd been doing. He did the Acorn People. He did Kong's Perry, the Parallel Bird, which, you know, the ACC mentioned, and people are, playing with them. And, you could, by the way, when you create a character in hashtag IDRB, there's a QR code so you can scan it and,
like Mies.
You can also upload a character in your trading post, and if your friends can then just put it directly in their game from that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
let's take another call.
Okay.
One more, and then I want to actually talk about the game itself, because you seem to have been a big fan of it.
I see a fight brewing.
No, there's no fight. It's all good. I've only spent 10 minutes with it.
Sharks versus Jets.
Hey, it's, me again. I'm not sure. I have a very important question regarding IDARK, or however you pronounce it, I don't know. So in IDARK, it's crossing between like ability games. Just so happens that that's what happened. So
I'm curious. There's a character creator, right? So I would like to know what you guys' thoughts are on that in the canon sort of way. So let's say if someone make a character of Jared Fogle or Bill Cosby or even Donald Duck. Let's say that happened.
3 famous rapists.
In that case, what would be the, what would be DK Vine's stance on that? Would it be that someone came up dressed in a Jared Fogle costume, or
Jared Fogle,
or would it be that it's the actual character there? I'd like to know. Anyway, see you guys.
Who was dressed as Jared Fogle?
Jared Fogle?
I suppose so. Yeah. I guess
Subway Jared.
Yeah, no, I'm just the notion of a Jared Fogle costume existing is just. I guess you would carry around a pair of obese jeans.
To be fair, I'm sure Subway back in the glory days of Jared did market like Jared costumes, which would be the oversized jeans that you hold up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a huge seller. Halloween 2001.
I'm doing a Google search for this. Hopefully this won't put. We just beat those pedophilia charges from the end of last season, so thankfully we called Saul. Let me see. Jared Fogle costume Halloween.
You're probably just gonna find a lot of cosplay from Subway Con.
Oh my God! There's a Clockboy costume.
Okay, so anyway, what do you think about? Does the character creator make characters
these
canon?
Are all molestation costumes.
Even in your own personal DKU.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How is this any different than creating a me of Hitler or Hitler? He's the most famous me, I guess. It's personal canon, I guess you could say. Well, that's Hitler, but as a broader sense for the DKU, the Donkey Kong universe, from a site standpoint, we can't sign off that Hitler's actually in the game because he's not in the game you get out of the box or freshly downloaded, because this is only a downloadable title. Hitler's not in the game, so we can't say Hitler's in the game. But if you want to create Hitler,
so, the site would only cover the global DKU, and I think that's more what Memechi is asking about.
Yeah. If you want to create Jared Fogle, then Jared Fogle can be a participant in #IDRB in your own twisted personal canon. But that's not something that DK Vine Wiki would ever officially include in its articles.
Yeah, and I guess if you want to be a predatory monster, you can make Donald Duck in IDARB.
Ducks do rape in nature. So when I say,
I've been to in New York City's Museum of Sex. They have a display about a documented case with photos of a gay mallard rape.
Yeah.
Oh no! It's a gay 3-way mallard rape. It's the craziest thing. Like they have such weird sex obscura. Which is
what Ted Cruz is talking about when he talks about New York values.
It's the Museum of Sex 3-way gay mallard rape. Yeah. No, ducks are terrible creatures.
Ducks don't rape in Iowa, Chad.
Mm-hmm. That's where all the best values of the country are. Yeah.
So Memechi, I hope that answers your question. If you want Donald Duck in your personal canon, great. Finally, you get your wish. But
no, he already could have had his wish via Minecraft or Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. I mean, he could have put a facsimile of Donald in his own personal DKU many times over.
I mean, so people who are playing as Perry and Donkey Kong, there's no reason you can't say that's Donkey Kong in your own personal canon because there's nothing stopping you. But from a site standpoint, we can't say that. This is Donkey Kong Universe because Rare has officially sanctioned these characters to be in this game. So we have to draw the line at those characters that are featured.
Right. So tell me about the game in the last 15 minutes of the show.
Absolutely. Be happy to. Well, I mean, the game is really the least important part of it. What's important is that you play as breakfast, you play as your mom, you play as mustachioed cops and dead presidents.
Abraham Lincoln. Yeah.
No, the game, I'm a fan of this game. And, I see people are openly split about this game on the internet. I've read some opinions, and people love it or they hate it, but there's very rarely a middle ground. And I think you just have to practice with it because there is a bit of a learning curve. It's a simple game, but actually playing it and getting the hang of trajectory of the ball and the best way to kick it into the goal, it takes a while. And you can see even like fighting you, but even competing against you in the quick round. You get 4 rounds per match or per game. So in the 4 rounds we played, I was even still struggling to get it into the whole A-Lads innuendo.
Callback. So it was... They are simple controls. There's, you move with the stick, you jump,
Good pod.
You can steal, and then you can shoot the ball into the opposite guy's goal.
You can also walk it in, which is your preferred method. You only get 1 point for walking it in, but
you get less for that.
It's by distance. You can get, I think, up to 5 points.
Okay, so that's good to know because I was wondering why doesn't everyone just walk in the ball? Because shooting the shooting is kind of, I guess, there's a way to learn it, exactly how the trajectory works. You just have to know the sweet
spots. You have to know the sweet spots. You have to know you have to let go of the stick, basically, when you're shooting, or else you're going to angle the ball. But if you just shoot it just goes a straight trajectory. Now, granted, there's an arc to it, so it's basically you just have to learn the physics of the game.
But you influence the arc with the control stick.
Yes.
Okay.
And basically, the game is openly modeled, despite the 8-bit graphic style, it's openly modeled after games from the 16-bit and 64-bit era. So NBA Jam is one of the big influences on this game. I don't know if you ever played NBA Jam, Chad.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. NBA Jam is hilarious. You can play as Bill Clinton in that.
Yeah. So this is very much similar to NBA Jam, even in the wacky character selection, but also in the sense of humor.
Well, those were he was a living president.
Right. Hey, babe, I'm an NBA. Okay. So.
And don't forget about me, Jimmy Carter, down on the peanut farm. I want to be in NBA Jam too.
Was Jimmy Carter in it, or did you just practice Jimmy Carter in the last week and wanted to try it out?
Nah, he was. Well, there's that, and also he was a living president when NBA Jam came out.
He's still a living president. Yeah. Cancer's not going to get Jimmy Carter down, unlike Alan Rickman.
Oh. What? That's terrible to say.
I know. Well, I'm going to die from cancer someday. I mean, unless Obama cures it in the next year like he promised to do.
Mm-hmm. Or we could just all put the chip back in our necks.
Right. And then apparently be rehired by the FBI after 14 years. Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that you aided and abetted a known murderer. It's okay.
It doesn't matter.
Come back to work for the FBI with that murderer.
It doesn't matter that you haven't been, staying physically active like you were for 14 years. You've been just in a Catholic hospital. Yeah, sure, we'll give you a gun and badge back. Sure.
We've got this office that's just been waiting for you for 14 years. It's so perfect.
And you know what? We're still not going to give you a desk, Scully. Your name's still not going to be on the door.
Look, we laid down a poster that you could sit cross-legged on the floor.
We put some newspaper down for you, Scully.
Yeah.
So
and you can do your business in the corner if you feel so inclined.
Your lady business. So the sense of humor, though, is very much patterned after NBA Jam. And I don't know if you saw, after I had scored a couple points on you, my character was on fire. which is also NBA Jam. He's on fire.
Right. No, I got on fire at one point as well, but it was very brief.
Yeah. And the announcers, I should point out, the announcers modeled after NBA Jam. So whenever you score a goal, they will shout a nonsensical phrase, usually from pop culture. So it's been very fun to see what they get. It took about 2 days until they started looping back, and I started hearing the same one. So there's a lot of them in the game. But I've gotten "Don't Look, Marion." I've gotten "Tell 'em about the Twinkie, Ray." I've got "Come with me if you want to live." I've got, I think, an Alien quote was in there. Game over, man. Game over.
Game over, man. Yeah.
I got a "Thanks, Obama."
That's an Aliens quote.
Yes, sorry. I got "Thanks, Obama," and I got...
So when you score a goal, it goes, "Thanks, Obama!"
Yeah.
Really?
So
that's awesome.
I know. It's fun. I like the levity of the game. It's just very, very just not concerned with taking itself seriously.
Sure.
And, so... The thing about hashtag IDRB, I almost tripped myself up, but I'm getting better. Thing about it is,
I don't think this counts as getting better.
I got to admit, it's getting better.
It's not.
Can't get no worse.
Oh, yes, it can.
So the thing about hashtag IDRB that really sets it out, and that we haven't actually played around with, Chad, is the Twitch interaction. You can play the game on Twitch, and on Twitter and in Twitch itself, people can send hash bombs. People who are watching your game can send hash bombs, which will disrupt the game in fun ways and introduce new elements on the fly. So there's all sorts of different hash bombs that they can do. So if you, for example, the example that the hashtag IDRB website uses, it's if you do hashtag light up my life, it will activate the hash bomb that will turn off the lights in the arena temporarily.
Huh. Oh, that's cool. So how does it know what game you're like? If someone just does hashtag, IDRB,
each hashtag IDRB game that's being played has a unique code at the top of the screen.
Oh, cool. Oh, if you're doing it online.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't notice one in the one that we were playing, but that was just
you might have to activate it. Well, we also weren't connected it to a Twitch feed too.
Right. Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is definitely a game we can have fun with DK Vine, with the community.
All right. Well, honestly, before we get there, I'm sure that the folks on the forum are going to create the DK Vine game night with this thing.
I know, but I'm saying we can do a, let's play with each other.
Let's play with each other. Absolutely. This is a great candidate. We could do, like an hour of Mario Kart 8, an hour of IDARB.
I think we're going to have to practice a little bit more. I have a little bit more practice and skills, but I still have a long way to go. So,
Team DK Vine objectively fails.
I've been playing. The biggest flaw I think the game has is you can't play as teams with online. You can only play. You can only have a team that's local to your console. You can have up to 8 people per console, which is pretty cool. But you can only play, as far as I'm aware, and I before we started recording, I was talking with people in our Twitch room chat, and I think they confirmed. So that's a downside, but it's still nice to have a reliable online and not something that's Smash.
Right. And this is also something, like Smash that requires kind of lightning quick, non-laggy performance. And in the round that we played very quickly, I didn't notice any issues.
No,
so
I might have noticed a slight lag, but not so much that it impeded one gamer over another,
Right. So this is, I guess there must be a hidden depth to it, because from what I played, it's like, it's fun, and it's got a sense of humor. It's definitely a smaller scale title with, there's one thing to do basically, but it's fun, But,
this is your argument about like Mario Tennis or anything else. Yeah, there's one thing to do. It's to kick a ball around, but
yeah.
I mean that's fine, and it's $14.99. Sometimes they offer it for free if you have gold. I missed out on
that's going to be in February. So if you want to play this, but you don't want to commit to the $14.99 and you do have Xbox Gold, wait until February, and then this will be a Games with Gold.
Obviously, I couldn't wait a week, but whatever.
Right. Neither could I.
I'm happy to support them because I think it is a fun, charming little game. And honestly, yeah, I think there is more depth to it. Once you put in some time with it, like I practice by myself. And thankfully the game gives you the option to do that. And
oh, good.
The more I played it, the more fun I had, especially realizing how delicate the controls were. Like it's not just kick ball smash. It's
that's kind of how I was playing it. So yeah, clearly I haven't.
There's a little bit of nuance, and the ball bounces, and you get like multipliers that the ball bounces, and and just the fact that you can go to the edge of the screen and see all these characters you're not playing as sitting in the audience. So I saw like Saberman, I saw Fulgore, I saw Fudgehog, and I was just like, okay, that's cool. That.
All sitting together politely.
All sitting together, yeah. And I assume if you create characters, then they also join the audience and fill it out. So, yeah.
You know what? Actually, we're getting a note from our Patreon backer Twitch chat saying IDARB was free last year, not this year. So don't necessarily go to the store in February hoping to get it Games with Gold. We can't confirm that any longer.
Unless the old ones pull you through time back to last February, just like they did your dead mom, and then get it for free.
Interesting, yeah. So, all right. Well, final thoughts. I mean, obviously, you enjoy IDARB. I enjoyed what I played of it.
I've got a really bold statement to make. You ready?
Uh-oh. Okay, let's hear it.
#IDRB is probably the most fun I've had with a new game. This is discounting Rare Replay since that's a collection of 30 games, and I've had a great time with Rare Replay, but it's more of a nostalgia trip than anything.
Sure.
It's the most fun I've had with a new game since Tropical Freeze.
Wow. That is a bold statement.
It's simple, but it's so much fun, and I'm charmed by the atmosphere, and you wouldn't think a game that's modeled after... I've been on record as hating the retrograde 8-bit aesthetic. Oh, let's not really put any effort into the graphics. Let's just make it a throwback. Aren't we cute and clever? And our Newsies caps. Oh,
Our Newsies.
Yeah, just peep. You know who I'm talking about. But
oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But it works for this game. It works because it's tongue in cheek as fuck. And it also allows that simple sprite editor where you can basically put in so many characters. Like Agent Ape shows what you can do with this game. Go to the DK Vine forum, check out the #IDRB thread to see what Agent Ape has done. It is spectacular. They're real. Yeah. They're spectacular. And
and can you play as your own creations online?
Yeah, I think so, because I think we've gotten confirmation. You might have to check our Twitch chat right now, but I think ACZ mentioned he was playing as Perry, I want to say.
Oh, okay, great. So, it's not the kind of thing where you can create all these amazing characters, but then they're just local. Like, you could show off your own handiwork to people online.
I'm pretty sure. Or at the very least, you can give it to your friends, and then you can share character maybe, and then you can both use it. I don't know yet.
Oh, with the QR code, certainly, yeah.
Or trading post, because you have to be friends with a person to play against them. And
right.
So, yeah, I'm charmed as hell by this game, and I love it, and I really can't wait to play more because it's simple yet addicting, and I think... I really hope more people get excited about it because I'm going to become a full-on advocate for this game, and so if you don't want to hear about it, you're going to hear about it. So I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, jeez, this is going to be
this is the surprise of the year so far for me because this is not a game you would think I would be into. This would be something I acknowledge it, yes, DKU, but I'm not going to talk about till I have to slush fund it. And no, I love it.
Jeez, you are not the Hyle Russell that I know.
Well, that's because I played with your mom.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.